So now I'm married to my husband, but there's this brother Matthew. Let me just use brother Matthew. Random. There's no brother Matthew anywhere. But there's this somebody somewhere who is a man or who is a guy and is my bestie. That means I get to call him almost every
Mhm.
day. We're chatting, we're
Mhm.
talking, and discussing things with him. So what do you think about that in marriage? Is he harmless?
The only bestie you should have in marriage is your partner. Simple and done. I
Hmm.
don't see why you should have any other bestie outside your partner. Your partner is your bestie. Everything you want to talk about with your partner. Everything that is a concern to you, anything that is troubling you, it's different when you're not married.
Welcome again to my channel, The Inspired, and thank you so much for stopping by for this interesting conversation. And guys, today I am not alone. I am here with my friend. We've been friends since okay, I'm going to give you more details. So welcome with me. Let the drums roll. Ayobami Odumoyewa Samson. Yeah. All right, Ewa, you're welcome. Would you like to say something? Would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yes, 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 yes. She said, my name is, first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for having me on The Inspired. It's amazing to see how far this page has grown and how much life it has blessed. Like she said, my name is Ayobami Odumuyiwa. I am a son of God, a husband, a father, and an amazing friend to Mrs. Daniels.
All right. Thank you so much, AY, for that introduction. He's a father, he's a husband, obviously, going to be father. He's my amazing friend. He's not the one that may say he's my amazing friend, but yes, he is. Let's give him a big clap. All right. My friend, myself and AY, we've been friends for about 14 years now, since 2012. A lot of things. Before we
2011.
became friends, it was a tug of
2011.
war.
2011.
2011, I was not your friend. You were trying to be my friend, but I was not yet your friend. Friendship is mutual. I would say from 2012. All right. So we're friends from 2012, and we've evolved from being friends as singles and still being friends as married people. I'm also married. I have my husband, and I have. Oh, thank you for sharing. And I have a beautiful baby boy. Now, why does this topic matter? Sometimes last year, I was just thinking about the fact that every kind of relationship, or most relationship that thrives, or the relationships that you get to enjoy, would always have a touch of friendship. If you're definitely relationship with God, there's God wants us to be his friend. Yes, God is our Lord, he's our master, but there's still that touch of friendship. Relationship with your husband, you have to be friends. And then people that would have impact on your lives. Even with your mentor, there's still that touch of friendship. It's just that the friendship and the way you relate with people will be at different levels. And I began to look at the issues we face in society around singles trying to manage their relationship with opposite sex, and how does it even affect us when we are married. And that's why I decided to contact my friend of very 14 years. That's a long time. We are not here to police your friendships, but we are just here to share our opinions by the wisdom of God. And I trust God that you would be able to gain one or two things from this conversation, and you receive wisdom for your own friendships. So without wasting time, let's get right into the conversation of today. So we're going to be dealing with some questions that we have put together and some scenarios that people sent to us through our Google form. And thank you so much if you dropped a question for us on Google form. We really appreciate you. So the first question for you, my guest, Mr. Ayobami Odumewa, who are friends?
um, Friends are one or two people, or people generally that kind of have a mutual trust, understanding, a level of commitment to each other. people that will be there or will be there for you in time of trouble. People you can have conversations about life situations and circumstances with, and people that will be able to help you be a better person. They can come in different shapes, forms, sizes, depending on where you are in life and what situation you are in life. But yeah, basically that's gonna be my short definition of friends.
Thank you so much for that robust explanation. People who can help you in life, and it changes like from stage to stage. There are some friends that would be relevant in a part of your life, and they may not actually be relevant in another part of your life. And it's not because you're a bad person, but because life is changing, or the relevance may actually reduce or even increase. So when I was thinking about this matter of friendship, I looked at the dictionary, and something I saw is someone you like to be with. And the truth is that it's not everybody you like to be with. Someone you enjoy being with.
Yeah.
God says we should love everybody, but the disciples spent more time with Jesus, or Jesus spent more time with his disciples than he spent more time with maybe the Pharisees or any other person. So there are people you enjoy being with. If you don't enjoy being with someone, I don't think you can say that that person is your friend. And friendship is determined by your values, because what you enjoy has to resonate with you, right? So if I'm saying A and you're saying Z, I'm like, guy.
Do you mind I say something here?
I know the guy is our mutual friend. Then it's Paul. It was just, for me, it was totally off. I know I maybe know who I'm talking about. It was like, he cracked jokes. I'm like, who is this? For real. But later, I began to resonate with him. Like, okay, this guy is more like, okay, this guy, his jokes are just on another level. And, with time, we got to understand each other, or I got to understand him, and we're able to come to that place of friendship. But before then, I will not consider him my friend. So, let's not overflow that. So we understand. You want to say something?
Do you mind I say something? Yeah. So, just talking about this kind of like took me back to high school and like the experience I had. Something I like observed after I left high school about myself, right? There were certain people, the conversations I had with them was just around football. Anytime we were meeting, all these guys, it's just football that we discussed. There were certain people, everything we discussed was just like maybe school stuff, how we're doing better. I was in literally debating team then. It was just like, things that we're doing that were like making us stand out in school. And there were certain people that it was just like other random conversations. So it was just like I had pocket of friends for different conversations at different points in time.
Yeah, that's the reality. Personally, I mean, don't quote me anywhere. I don't believe in best friends. I only believe in close friends, because I feel best is over. Like, best, you are like this, like all around. But close friends, there are people you can have conversations about your spiritual life. There are people who you can have conversations about your marriage or your academics and things like that. So, like, you have those pockets of friends, and you can't have a lot of close friends, but you can have a few friends. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Now we are going to being single and having a male friend as a lady, or having a female friend as a guy. So when you talk about opposite sex relationship or opposite sex friendship, what keeps the friendship alive? And what also kills the friendship as singles with the opposite sex? Like, I don't want us to talk about general kind of friendship. So what keeps the friendship alive, and what makes it die, if I must say?
So I would just like to make reference to my definition of friendship. One of those things is trust, right? As a friend or a single friend, opposite sex, there's a level of trust that I should be able to trust you, especially based on values, right? I think that's where one thing that we need to actually start from. when you're friends, what type of friends are we talking about? Because everybody, there are friends everywhere, both those that are in Christ and those that are not in Christ. But if we're talking about those that are in Christ, right? What are the values? We believe we have the same values, we align on values, then I should be able to trust you to a certain extent, right? There's a level of expectation, commitment wise, as friends, like what trust is important, right? Trust keeps friendship, communication keeps friendship. We should be able to communicate. There's a level of maturity that we all need in friendship. We should be able to talk or express ourselves. And even in situations where, we don't have this, there should be space for grace. Where, if somebody does something, you give them grace to maybe take time, process their thoughts, come back and, express themselves. They'll be able to express themselves better. Or you guys can have a conversation about whatever the situation is. If you talk about what kills friendship, I think lack of boundary does. If someone consistently tells you what they like and what they don't like, but you keep doing the things they don't like, right? That person tends to start moving away from you, right? And I think generally your personality, your disposition, you can understand people for who they are, just like we mentioned the friend we had, right? You can understand people for who they are, and then it's left to the person to determine if they still want to be your friend or if they want to move away, right? You can understand, oh, okay, this is the kind of character or attitude this person has, especially when we discuss certain things that have importance either to me or to the person, and you feel, okay, I really don't think I can help this person out, or even if I'm in this person's life, they don't tend to listen to the things I tell them, right? So things like that also causes like a wedge, in friendship.
All right. Thank you so much. So you mentioned trust, and then having similar values and knowing people for who they are. And if the person is not aligned, the person is not behaving anymore. So those are the things that kill friendship. Thank you so much for that. And I'm just gonna talk about some things that are kind of more specific, especially when it comes to um man, like lady to guy relationship, friendship rather. So where we grew up, Nigeria, and I don't know if it's something that is African. I think I've seen people take advantage of those kind of friendships. One thing I would say that keeps friendship, like opposite sex friendship, is respect. You don't expect more than can be given. How do I mean? Sometimes I feel, yes, this is not to backlash ladies, but sometimes I feel like ladies are expecting more from the guys. Some people
Hmm.
feel like this guy is my friend, so he has some financial responsibility towards me. No, he's not your husband, he's not your father, he's not your uncle. Like you goof. So there must be that respect, like you are not dependent on this person. I give as much as the person is giving. That's one thing I would definitely say would either, if you are doing it, will build your friendship. If you are not doing it, would kill your friendship. Respect people's time. Don't say,
Hmm.
"Ah, he's my friend, is my this one," so you understand. If for some reasons you are not able to meet up with something, just apologize. I feel someone has said to me before that I'm too official. And I think some other people will see me that way. But I believe there's a part of respect that helps you keep any kind of friendship. There's a kind
Hmm.
of, okay, this is how we do. It's not like, okay, anyhow, anyhow. The friendship will not last. The recipient may just be keeping quiet, but with time, the person will get weary of your lack of respect and not being, will I say, organized, or not keeping to your words and things like that. So I would say respect is very important in building opposite sex relationship, and not expecting, as that's still part of respect, not expecting this person to do for you even what your father what your mama cannot do for you. And no, yeah, the
Hmm.
same thing for the guys. Don't expect, okay, this is my female friend, oh, so she's meant to be bringing food for me. Did you give her pocket money? Are you okay? All right. If there's no, okay, let's not overplug it. All right. Thank you so much, AY, for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you mentioned something because the next question is going to be about boundaries. I know you mentioned
Mm.
something about boundaries earlier. Can you tell us more about boundaries when it comes to friendship as singles, friendship with other sisters as singles?
I mean, boundaries is boundaries. Like what it is, right? There are certain lines that you shouldn't cross, right? As friends, there are certain things you shouldn't do. Especially, like I said, there are certain things some people would like, or there are certain things some people would not like. This person has expressed it to you before. This is where they stand on certain things. This is so for some people it could be contact, physical contact. There are people that either guy or girls or boys or men or women, they like physical contact, irrespective. Like they hug, and there's some people that don't. They literally find it cringe, right? And they might have expressed it over certain times, like, see, I don't like this thing that you're doing, right? And genuinely, from where we come from in Nigeria, you have a lot of people that might not have an issue with it, but coming to America, you would know that it's not their way of life, right? Like, if it's not what everybody, people have what they like and what they don't like generally. So that's just in one aspect. It could be in the way you talk or the things you talk about. Like when a friend confides in you, right? They believe it's between both of you, right? You sharing that information with somebody else is passing boundary, right? Like you're crossing a boundary. Like, okay, I believed in you. That's why I did. That's why I did. So we're talking about singles now because the dynamics is different when you're married. I think it's something that I will still talk about. The
Mm.
dynamics is different when you're married, right? So it's like, as singles, there are a lot of things that people might, just principles. You know this person's principles. You know what they stand for. You know what they like. You know what they don't like. Try to stay on the good side. Try not to like project yourself or your own preference on them, right? There are some people that like, they belittle the things that or the principles that you have set for yourself. They tend to belittle it, and that way they kind of like cross the boundary sometimes. So.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so very much for that. And just to add a little to boundaries, it's possible that someone is getting too close, and yes, you're not going to marry all your friends. You're going to marry just one person.
You're not
So
also going to date all your friends. That's what people do. You're not going to date everybody that comes into your
definitely,
life.
definitely, you're not going to date everybody that comes to your life.
Yeah.
So I believe that um someone should not be too close that it becomes a roadblock to other
Mm,
people that or someone else that may be interested in a deeper relationship with you, like marriage. Because the truth is, there are people who fall prey of this. There's this guy or there's this lady that is always ever before them, always moving around them, and they are not allowing people who are we're just friends, you're just this and that, and they're not allowing people who are interested to even see them, let alone because they feel like, oh, maybe they're in relationship. So I feel one thing that singles should do is to, yes, define your friendship with the person, the friend, and let the people around you also know what you guys are up to. As
mm.
much, I mean, I'm not saying you should carry like a public address system and announce that, okay, oh, we are not dating, but let it be clear. Let's let the lines not be clear. Let not be looking like you guys are dating. Meanwhile, you guys are not dating. Because at the end of the day, you're going to hurt both parties. So that boundary, let it be clear. All
I
right.
think sometimes some of these things are not deliberate for certain people.
Okay.
Like they find themselves in it,
Yeah,
right?
situationship.
And where yeah, and where many people fail to what many people fail in is not clearing things out, right? Because genuinely, there are a lot of relationships that started off from like close friendships, or like, maybe most likely at the beginning, no, not most likely, but said at the beginning, probably that was not the intention. But as time went on, you know, because they remain like that, it's graduated into that, right? And if I know of somebody that, a guy that had a female close friend, when we were in school, they were close, and I've asked this guy before, and I was like, oh, there's nothing, but they are always together, always doing a lot of things together and stuff. But don't be lying, they got married.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's it really. That's even for myself and my husband. Yes, we were seeing us together, and when he asked me, first there was nothing. I mean, I understand those kind of situation, but if during that friendship you are not acting like you are dating, or I don't know if you get my point. So, like your words, your will I say, your composure actually speaks as well. So, if during that moment when you guys are not friends, when you guys are friends without dating, you are not acting like you are dating, I feel like it's dangerous. I don't know if you get my point, but definitely. Oh yes, you at the end of the day, you marry your friend, things graduate, things change. Some people will even say to your friend that Shivi said there was nothing between you guys. Yes, there was nothing as at that time. But things are different now. Alright, so just before we move on to marriage, there's just one last question for you to answer, for us to answer, as touching opposite sex relationship and singlehood and managing emotions with the opposite sex. We know that emotions are real. You can get attracted to your family, like, I'm feeling mushy, but how do you manage that emotion, that it doesn't mess up the friendship? Because there are people who, yes, because they couldn't manage the emotions in friendship, and they end up doing things that they did not plan for. So please, how do we manage emotions?
So one of the things in which we've mentioned before is like boundaries. You can't overemphasize the importance of boundaries, especially when you start having feelings for a friend, right? If it's not, it's not all the feelings that we have that we actually act on, right? It's not all the feelings that we have that we proceed with. So you need to have self-control, one, right? Self-control and discipline is very important. You need to be able to process your thoughts together, and if you know that you are not pursuing this person, you have to put up boundaries whereby you put yourself in check. One, if you spend a lot of time together, you might have to start cutting down on that time, right? If something that happened to me that I learned from was, which kind of affected me negatively, but I learned from, is, okay, there's certain people that I was close to at a particular point in time, and because they started pouring a lot of intimate things, deep things, and like things that were happening in their life to me, we started getting closer than necessary, right? And at that point, it had to take like a very strong step to like, okay, we need to like cut or like reduce this or cut this off, because now I started developing some feelings or whatnot, right? So you need to be able to put yourself in check, assess yourself, and put boundaries to certain things. If you spend a lot of time, reduce the time. There are certain, and you shouldn't be caught in compromising places, right? With these people, right? Places where you are alone, where you know that body can fire, your flesh can move you to do things. Nobody is above being tempted, and also having someone else that you can talk to that can put you in check, right? Someone else that's in another friend, right, that can help put you in check, put your understanding, put your feelings in perspective and all. So I think those are basic things. One, self-control. Two, having like really, really good boundaries. I mean, until you know or you're certain of where you're going or what that feeling is, if it's one that you're going to act on after you've spoken to God and all, right? You still need to like put those boundaries together. Okay, then now if you decided, okay, this is a feeling that you have to act on, then you take the necessary steps. Doesn't mean you should throw caution into the wind, right? But those things, those two things, I think are key in managing feelings.
All right. Thank you so very much. So we cannot overemphasize the fact that we need to set boundaries. And just to add on what you said, the first thing you must acknowledge is that you have emotions. Because some people, they are having the emotions, but they are not acknowledging it. They're like, it's nothing, it's nothing. You have to know when you start to have the emotions and acknowledge it. In that way, you will be able to say to thy own self, be true. You'll be able to address the issue. And yes, cutting down communication, even with God, what builds intimacy is communication.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like you should chase your friend away, but reduce the communication. I have life
Yeah.
example. I remember when I was there, and one guy, we're just talking every night, we just chat and just saying different things. But then this was not even that I was developing. Yes, I was enjoying the chat and everything, but I had an instruction from God, like, get, you are heading the wrong direction. And I didn't argue with God. I didn't wait for myself to start developing a lot of emotions before I acted on reducing the communication. So know that we are not infallible. That's just it. We
Yeah.
are human beings. No matter even we are speaking capital letter tongues. You have spirit, you have soul, you have your body. So acknowledge that. If you are the type that you're very sensitive to touch, don't disregard that. Don't allow anybody to touch you anyhow. Because sincerely, as a young girl, like, what's wrong with this girl? Why is she always like this? But I understand myself. Don't allow anybody, no matter who they are. Yes, your close friend, it's nothing, and things like that. But you know yourself. So be true to yourself and create the boundaries. Don't wait for another person to create the boundaries for you. All right. Thank you so
Sorry,
much. Okay, you want to
before we
say
move
something?
ahead, yeah, something else that I like to say is also how you break the communication or reduce the communication matters a lot.
Okay.
Because there are genuine friendship that do not necessarily need to graduate to something else. That if you don't put the feelings in check or manage the communication well, it might like blow out of proportion, right? Um, I was going to say I had another example. This was way early in uni days. There was somebody I started talking to. We're just friends, right? But we had certain conversations, and especially when the conversation is at night, you need to be very careful. One of those late night conversations, you need to be very careful.
Okay.
You need to be very careful late night conversations. So like we had late night conversation. At the end, I was leaving. We hugged. I felt some way, and after that time, I just didn't talk to the person again. Like I just disappeared. And the person's coming from one way, I take another way. I just like completely avoided the person. But when the more I grew, the more mature I became, I understood that I didn't handle that situation well. Right? I could have done better. Instead of completely avoiding the person and stuff, I could have just you still greet, but you don't just talk till late again. You don't stay up late, stay out late having certain conversations, but you still like service the relationship or the communication in minute ways where the person doesn't feel abandoned or hurt or like used and done so somewhat. So yeah, I think the way we manage the communication also matters.
All right. That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense, and I agree with you. Thank you so much. So now we are going to be going to the next level. All right. So now we're going to start to answer questions related to opposite sex friendship and marriage. It's about to get really sweet. Okay. So the first question is, should your friendships actually change after marriage? Should your friendships change after marriage?
Yeah, so I mean, I genuinely believe there are certain friendships that might need to change after marriage. Maybe not all, but there are certain friendships because there might be people that are feeling you that are not feeling. You know, I feel that feeling that I don't feel it, right? So I mean, not all, but yeah, genuinely there are a couple of friendships that might change outside marriage. Although I am more of the opinion, or I lean towards my friends become my partner's friends. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I
Yeah.
tried introducing most of my friends to my partner. So like the people that I'm close to, they know them. And interestingly, a couple of my friends that are married is the same thing where I have a relationship with them and their wives. Like we talk as friends, right? Even my single friends know my wife. So it's like, they know us as one. Do you get? So yeah. There are
Yeah.
certain friendships that might need to change, but not all of them. Definitely.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much, AY. Friendships changing during after marriage. Yeah, just like you said, it's more of, let's say, is it merger and acquisition that they call it now?
Yeah.
So, you know, and for my own case, funny enough, because myself and my husband went to the same school, so we have a lot of mutual friends. So it wasn't difficult integrating. But the truth is that there are some people, or like someone grew up in Abuja, the other person grew up in Lagos, and their friends are north to south. And integrating those friendships with wisdom without putting pressure on your marriage, because now your marriage is your priority. It should like integrating your friendship should be, how do I put it? Like that's what should be done. And maybe the friendships will not change, but I would say priority will
Oh yeah.
change. The truth is, there are some people I used to, even female friends, that I used to spend a lot of time chatting with, but now we don't chat as much. Not because I don't like them anymore, but life has happened. I was sitting down during the time we're preparing for this conversation, and I was chatting this iron that people are looking at. There are times I won't reply. I'm like, guy, what's happening? She did not see my message. It's really like he skipped some message. Well, I understand that now. He has a toddler. He has a wife. He has responsibilities. So it's really possible that he's busy. And I'm not his priority. I know. I accept that with all humility. Because that's what, because they say we have to our own sense, we have to be true.
Mhm.
The priorities change. So yes, you may not be changing your friendships, but you will change your priority. You will change, not like you will even want to change it, but life will just happen to you, not for
Yeah.
bad. Like even good things will happen to you. You have in-laws. It's not just your family that you're trying. You are so, so
Not with the family.
that's just it. And the truth is, sometimes your friends that are still single, they may not be able to wrap their heads around it. Like, why are you forming busy
Mm.
until they get married? Like, oh my god, this thing is this thing can be crazy. Like you can literally, it's just the help of God that you're just staying sane day after day. So yes, you don't necessarily have to change your, or else if the friendship is not making
Yeah.
sense and you just use your marriage as an excuse to excuse the
Mhm.
person. So you don't have to change your friendships, but you have to change your priorities. All right. So now we've talked about like general friendship, even with the same
Mhm.
sex. So can opposite sex friendships actually survive marriage?
Yes, opposite sex friendship can survive marriage, but just like you said, the priorities are different, right? I mean, I have a couple of my friends that are now my wife's friends. It's more or less like they steal your wife from you. I don't know if you get that kind of scenario, right? So, whereby they become your wife's or your partner's friend, and even they become a lot closer than you are with them. You know, many of those friendships are easy to service and maintain, where there is a proper integration, and it's easier when you have the same values. You have same understanding and similar approach to life, right? It's a lot easier because then a lot of the things or conversations that will have or things that will help them build that friendship. I'm talking about your friend and your partner now. They'll have a mutual ground that they can talk on, right? Or that they can grow or develop on, right? But when it's a situation where values are not really aligned, when it's a situation where they don't see things the same way, it might be difficult to integrate, but it's possible for opposite sex friendship to survive marriage.
All right. That's really good. And I agree with you. It's possible. And there are actually some opposite friendships that would not survive marriage
Oh
too.
yes, yes.
Especially maybe like a lady and there's a guy that is still trying to ask you out, even though you are married. And
Yes.
maybe it's not even directly
No,
asking you out, but it's saying the person is using some kind of language that is not proper, and you're like,
like sweetheart,
are we okay here?
Mary, my love.
Uh-huh.
I am not your love,
Uh-huh.
please.
So I feel like those kinds of friendships, they would kill your marriage. So you should kill it. You should kill it before it kills. What did you say?
Like real quick, I have a friend.
Okay, so
She's married to. Well, like she jokes around. And you're like, oh baby, alpha. But like literally, that's just her. Like that's like her personality. She's bubbly. She's like, and the good thing is she's really close to my wife. In fact, she's closer to my wife now to a certain extent than myself, right? So, but in that situation, that's just the person, and the person is also married, right? Even though it's an opposite sex, but she's also married. Sorry, I had to put it.
And yeah, no, it's okay. That's a very good example. She's also married. She's now close to you. She's closer to your wife than she is to you. And then your wife is not raising an eyebrow about it. Because I feel like since our priorities have changed, if someone is doing something and your spouse begins to raise an eyebrow, you don't go and face your spouse and like, guy, especially if what the person is doing is not really the very usual. I don't even get my point. So we are human beings. Even our God is jealous, right? If what the person, your opposite sex friend, is doing is making your partner uncomfortable, it should also make you uncomfortable. And I feel those kinds of friendship, yes, you may not cut them off, but you may let them know that, oh, I'm sorry. Because sometimes, I mean, now that I'm in another part of the world, I'm learning to have more serious, hard conversations. Like, I don't want this because I'm like in Nigeria. You have to be quiet. You have to. No, you say you don't like this. This is not going to work for us. I don't appreciate. You don't even have to say that your wife is raising an eyebrow or your husband is raising an eyebrow to protect the person, to protect your spouse as well. So you just let the person just. Can we put it in this way so that it can sound better for everybody? All right. So our conclusion is that opposite sex friendships rather can survive marriage if put in the right context. The next question is a very interesting one. So, is having an opposite sex bestie harmless in marriage? So now I'm married to my husband, but there's this brother Matthew. Let me just use brother Matthew. Random. There's no brother Matthew anywhere. But there's this somebody somewhere who is a man or who is a guy and is my bestie. That means I get to call him almost every day. We're chatting, we're talking, and discussing things with him. So what do you think about that in marriage? Is it harmless?
The only bestie you should have in marriage is your partner. Simple and done. I don't see why you should have any other bestie outside your partner. Your partner is your bestie. Everything you want to talk about it with your partner. Everything that is a concern to you, anything that's troubling you, it's different when you're not married, right? Like, okay, you want somebody to confide in, you want somebody to, share your bodies with and stuff. That's what your partner is there for. Like, what does your bestie want to do that your partner cannot do? Because I believe before you marry the person, you have the understanding that two of you will be able to make decisions and, have conversations and, resolve them and think in the right direction or put things in the right direction. Even if it's going to take you a while, even if you need to like take time, breathe, process your thoughts, you believe that your partner, you should be able to have like all those conversations with them. So, Bikun, what's the best you're going to do that your partner cannot do?
Okay, so what if, just creating a scenario now. So what if you have a situation, or maybe it's not even like issues, but you have maybe a technical problem, but this doesn't even happen all the time. And you have someone like, oh, this person is quite smart, this person is this. Can't you just like, what am I saying? Okay, so we actually, because even with issues like that, yes, let your husband know first or let your spouse know first, and we will not agree that, okay, we are going to talk to this person about it. Because if you say someone is your bestie, there has to be like continuous, constant communication. And yes, it is very harmful for your marriage. No matter how the person, no matter who the person is, no matter how spiritual the person is, I believe that it is very harmful for your marriage. If the person you're married to did not qualify as your bestie, like, you shouldn't actually marry for people that are single now. If you feel like this person, because those are the things you should actually look out for as a single. Like, mentally, can we relate? Spiritually, can we relate? I can't be talking A and you're talking Z. Like, oh my God. And the truth is, there are some things that people agree. Yeah, I'm just diverting a tiny little bit and just helping us to help people make some choices in marriage. There are some things that people can actually outgrow, and you don't have to judge them on that. I would say for my husband, I don't think our sense of humor was like, it was like not to start when I got married. But now my husband blows my mind. Like, you don't see me like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. So
he learned from the best. He learned from you.
Oh my God, like, even for me, like, he says some things and I'm totally blown away. I cannot even say anything. So things like that, they are kind of minor. But when it comes to spirituality, I really wanted someone that I could relate with. I don't want to say that I'm sensing this in my spirit and you don't even understand what it means to have perception, to be sensing things. So yes, we are not judging anybody, but for me, from a wise perspective, I don't think it's wise, or we actually think it's quite harmful for your relation, for your marriage, when you start to have a bestie, an opposite sex bestie, even female bestie or same sex bestie. Your husband is your go-to after God. After God, like, your husband is just your go-to. I pray that God will help us.
We're not saying you shouldn't have close friends, just like we established earlier, right? Because there are certain things that might be one-off, that, you can quickly have a conversation with somebody and they can, help you navigate or help you see things from a different perspective. We're not saying don't have close friends, right? But when you are now having a close friend that you are dividing the emotions or the time that you're meant to be sharing or that you're meant to dedicate to your husband or to your partner, and genuinely, that's how it starts, right? When normally you know that this person has your 100%, but then there's somebody else that is getting your 5%. Before you know, that 5 will turn to 10. Before you know, you feel like, my husband doesn't really understand this thing. Let me go and talk to this person. Before you know,
it's 50-50.
So it sneaks up on you easily if you're not careful, So it's better to just, your husband is your bestie, your wife is your bestie, your partner is your bestie.
All right, shout out to my bestie, Wenga Daniel. Shout out to your bestie. Don't say that. All right. So, all right. This is so good. My next question will be, now, talking to people who are outside now, like how can an opposite sex friend cross boundaries in marriage? So let's just assume that I have a male friend, like not a male bestie, a male friend, and maybe he's married or he's not married. How can that person cross the boundaries in my marriage?
I mean, this is something I kind of learned through experience, and I think that there's a level of closeness that you'd have with someone, and you're free to have different types of conversations with, right? And there are some people that they are not open enough to have those kind of conversations, right? They are just like I said, like in high school, I had pockets of friends where I had like different types of conversations with different people. I think the same thing still applies. There are some of my friends that I can have certain conversations with on some of the things I do at home and stuff. And there are some that that okay, this one you can't even talk about it to this person, right? In a situation where like it just depends on different individuals, right? It's tricky. It's tricky, but bringing it down to some of the questions we've had today, as a person, if somebody confides or a friend confides in you that their partner is not doing this, it's not left for you to judge the person's partner. Talking from the friend's perspective now, like if you are the friend that they are talking to, it's not left for you. It's not you're not in position to judge. What you mean? Never. She never meant to do that. Oh, she's a bad person. No. At that point, yeah, I was doing it because I mean, this is this person's partner. Yes, they might come to have a conversation with you on certain things, which I mean, I genuinely believe partners should resolve their issues between themselves and not bring in a third party. But in a situation that happens, and if they hint at something, for example, not everybody knows how to give gifts. Not everybody knows how to, do certain things for their partner. If they hint at that those things, you're not in position to now go and start doing those things for them. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's not in your position to go and start doing those things for them. So it goes back to one of the things we said, boundaries. There are a lot of boundaries that shouldn't just be crossed. You have guiding principles for yourself, for your partners, and I think with that you should be safe.
All right. Thank you so very much for that. So just to add on what you said, I think one way, like an opposite sex or any kind of sex guy will cross boundaries in marriage, is when the person starts to badmouth your spouse. Like, I feel that's very rude. Because, yeah, it's possible, like, you may not even tell them anything, but maybe you guys are just talking and the person stylishly, jokingly. I feel like that's very rude. It's just like you're about mouthing me. This is my partner, this is the person I say we are one. So, that's the thing I said earlier about respect. The fact that you are close to someone doesn't mean that you should talk about them anyhow, talk about who they like or the people around them anyhow. It's just same for everybody. And something happened recently. I know that if you can remember when we're talking and you talked about your car crash, and funny enough, I was being very sincere about the kind of questions I was asking. Like, do you need some time to rest? But maybe because you know me as someone, maybe you thought I was being sarcastic, but I was just being very sincere. And I think I later apologized. I mean, if I sounded like I was taking lightly what you were feeling, because that was just the way I felt it in my mind. It would have been, I thought it would have been rude or wrong for me to, because my husband was not asking questions. I'm like, Winda, are you? I was also like, okay, if you feel like you have done it wrong, or at the end of the day, when it comes to maybe doing a wrong. It's about the recipient. You may feel like you've done nothing, but if the recipient feels otherwise, then it's in your position to really know how the person is feeling. And I had to ask you, like, okay, sorry, I do not, I had to tell you to you, like, sorry, I do not intend to make light what you feel, but I just want to understand what exactly is going on. So yes, respecting ourselves, respect yourself as an individual. Respect we will feel like if we respect ourselves, we will not cross boundaries. So don't talk lightly of the person's spouse. Don't talk lightly of their children, even when you are making jokes and things like that. All right. Okay, I know we mentioned this. So still going back to integrating your opposite sex relationship or your opposite sex friend, I don't know why I keep saying relationship, opposite sex friendship into your new family. Can you talk about how did we make that possible? Because so that it doesn't sound like we are just talking maybe in the abstract. And yeah, so I have your wife's number. Sometimes I chat her up. Most times when we are calling, she's on the call with you. We are talking. I'm throwing banters and things like that. So how was that possible? Because I didn't know her from school.
Yeah. I mean, you knew
I know we
about
didn't mention
you
where
knew
we
about
met.
her, but you didn't.
Why you were in school? Okay, yeah,
It was my
maybe
final year. I mean, we
like
started dating my final year. So we kind of
yes,
knew
you
about
started
her.
talking
Yeah.
about that. So how were we able to for my own side, maybe there's not so much to talk about because my husband went to the same school with
Same
us
fellowship.
and you knew him then, so it was the same fellowship, so it wasn't difficult to integrate. But your wife wasn't in the same circle with us. How did we go about that?
So for me, one of the things I did, because while we were in school, she already knew about you. She knew I had a close friend in my class. We studied together. We attended the same fellowship. We already did a couple of things together, so it was easy, right? Because okay, she had already known. Oh, he had a friend in school, and it's this person, and all that and all that. So after we got married, what made it easier was when we are talking, my phone is on loudspeaker. So as we are all in the conversations together, right? So and it's like when you say one or two things, I'll like, oh, my wife's here, and you guys talk. I think I introduced you guys at some point. You guys started talking, just like I said, shared contacts and kind of like have your own conversations, one off here and there. But generally, most of the conversations we have is like, apart from most of the time we're home when we're having our conversations and our partners are around, or my partner is always is around, and oh, who's on the phone? Oh, he's Oinda, or it's Babsy. And she's like, oh, Babsy, how are you? So it's like the conversations we have, we kind of bring them into it, so it's easier to relate or integrate with the person. And I think generally I did it for most of my friends like that too. Where I tell her about this person, this is this person, this is where I know this person from, this is how long we've been friends, and this is where we met, blah blah blah. And when I'm talking to that person on the phone, I'm like, hey, my wife is here, or the phone is on speaker, and if you make a comment, actually even yes, she can hear you, introduce them, help them to have that conversation. The truth is, it's not all of them that is going to work. Something similar happened with a different friend. I didn't know if I was going to bring it up in this conversation until you asked this question. And the person point blank told me, oh, I don't like your wife. Trust me. And I stopped talking to that person from then. Right? I mean, there was a time I tried reaching out to her to tell her this is why. But I don't know. My spirit just let it go. Right? And literally, like I said, my phone's on loudspeaker. On that particular day, I was driving my wife to work. When that person said that, I was literally driving my wife to work. So, and the truth is, I think they've tried talking to each other or they've tried being friends, but this person doesn't understand my wife's personality. It's just like you now, if you call her or text her and she doesn't respond immediately, you understand that at some point she's going to respond, right? And but this person did not understand that. Plus, you are meeting somebody new, you don't really know what's going on in their life, you don't really know what's happening, you don't know, you're just trying to learn who they are, right? There should be some level of grace to that aspect, right? So yes, maybe she tried reaching out a couple of times. yeah, my wife might have had some lapses in maybe returning or responding to some of those messages and calls, but then it doesn't get to the point you see you don't like the person. So for that particular person, it didn't work out. Trying to integrate or introduce them to each other, it didn't work out because they had different perspective and understanding of how things should go. And I mean, for me, if you don't like my wife, you don't like me. You don't like me, right? So,
Valid,
well,
valid, valid,
I
valid.
respectfully just excuse myself from that, and since then I don't think I've
Mhm.
spoken to that person in a very long time.
Wow, interesting. That's okay. So from what you said, I see that there are three parties that have a role to play when it comes to
Yeah,
integration. The how will I explain that? The
husband or the
the
wife,
friend,
the friend.
let's say the woman or the wife, the opposite sex friend that is outside, and the spouse of the man or the
Mm.
wife as well. So because it takes two to
Yeah,
tango, right?
yeah,
So if yes, just like you said, doing a formal introduction in case they have not met before, and then putting the phone on speaker, everybody's in the conversation, and yes, the opposite sex friend is talking and your spouse is also responding well. It's not like the person is giving, I mean, we are in different stages of life. There are days that you are going to give very cool
yeah,
vibes,
yeah.
not because you don't like the person, but because you don't even want to have the conversation. Not and it's nothing personal, but
That is
life is
life.
doing. You are so stressed, you are tired. Sometimes women they are pregnant, they are that like life can just be happening in different ways. So it's just good, like just like you said, let's show ourselves grace. So the three people involved have to synergize for a proper integration to happen, and nobody should expect more than they deserve. No, deserving, yes, like more than don't place yourself more highly than you are placed. Just be
Yeah.
because sometimes you want to prove point. I've known this
Before
guy before
you,
you
I'm
know him
moving
now. Why you
on.
now acting up?
That's the thing.
All right, this question, just before we go to our scenarios, the questions we got from our Google form is this question is quite interesting. So now let's assume that I have an ex, like someone I was dated, we are dating together. Not like when we say we are dating, and this is an example. Like we had emotions, like we dated, and that was it. So can my ex still be my friend in marriage?
I mean,
Can my ex still be my friend in marriage? Yeah.
so maybe an acquaintance, maybe not a friend, right? Because yeah, maybe
Okay.
an acquaintance, like depending on the scenario and things that happened that led to the breakup. That's one, and genuinely, this person might have some resources that once in a blue document, like, hey, please, can you help me with this? The person might be an acquaintance, not somebody that you still consistently keep in touch, because we all know what happens when you consistently talk to somebody that you have been in a relationship before. You reignite whatsoever feelings and things that you've had before, right? So I'll say an acquaintance because at least somebody you can still buzz, like, hey, please, can you help me with this? Or but whatsoever the situation is, there needs to be visibility or transparency between yourself and your partner. If for any reason you are still in communication with that person, your partner should be aware, and like, oh, I reached out to this person because of this, or I want to reach out to this person for this because of this, right? And if your partner has an alternative, they will politely suggest, oh, okay, why don't we do it this way, right? So there has to be like a mutual understanding between yourself and your partner before reaching out, or before servicing or maintaining the acquaintance with your ex, because genuinely it's not all exes that are bad. It's not
Yeah.
all exes that are terrible people, right? Like I said, it literally
Mm.
just depends on what happened or why you guys are no longer together. So yes, as an acquaintance, but maybe not like a friend.
All right, thank you so very much for that answer. People have different opinions about this. Yeah. I know during COVID era they would say stay safe. I remember they would always say stay safe. So my advice would be stay safe. The truth is we know ourselves and we should know our propensities, but at the same time you cannot predict life. So staying safe means if for instance something happens in your marriage, like there are days in marriage, like who is the person that I married? Is he okay? Is she like, what are you doing like this? Why are you, it's not like, God, what was I thinking? Because we are emotional beings, right? Even though it's God's will for your life, there are times that you're supposed to do something you don't like. There are times you're overreacting. There are times that life is just happening. If at that point in time you still have your ex in your space, like very much in your space, there's a very high likelihood that you go to the person to help soothe your emotional breakdown. Because we are humans. Because sometimes you just want that comfort first before you even start to think. But if that ex is not in your space, it will be very difficult for you to just call the person out of the blues and be explaining matters to them. So if we have had an emotional connection, we are children of God, and I definitely do not stand for premarital sex. But now assume that you have gone that deep, and yes, you have repented, you are now a child of God, or even as a child of God, you missed it, you have not repented, and you are still keeping that person in your space. It's very, 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 very dangerous. If it was God that was directly answering this question, I know that's what you say. But really, it's very dangerous. So stay safe. The Bible tells us that we should flee every appearance of evil. If something can make you do what, at the end of the day, be like, why did I do this? Why not keep it away? Let your ex exit your life. They will do well. When you say that I cannot do without you, it's a lie. You're gonna do without you. You are no oxygen, you are no God, you are no food, you are no water. So please, we are children of God and we have the wisdom of God. It's wisdom, I believe, for us to, if someone has exited your life, let them stay outside. Just like you say, they can still be acquaintances. Not like, yes, if like birthdays, celebrations, you can still greet them and things like that, but not chatting. You cannot be chatting every day with your ex and say there's nothing. If I'm your spouse, clearly you should actually consider your partner as well. How will this person feel about it? Yeah. All right.
Thank you. In your partner's situation, how would you feel if your partner is talking to their ex? Like, how would you feel in that situation?
How would you feel? All right. Yeah. Thank you so very much. I'm loving this. So we're going to quickly go over. So we have 2 scenarios. We have 2 questions from our Google form. And the first is, okay, so it sounds more like what we already addressed. It says, please, can you still be friends with people who you have dated or had crushes on, even though you were originally just friends? So I would assume the person means like initially you were friends, but later you dated or you started to have a crush on them. Especially if you both have talked about it and have decided to move on with your separate lives. How do you convince your partner that you are now just friends, especially if your partner was aware of everything that went on between you and the female friend? And in this person's case, and the male friend.
A lot is going on in this question.
A lot. So, okay, let's take it bit by bit.
You know why I say a lot is going on? Because at some point, you said you have spoken about it and you decided to go your separate way. So why are you coming back to this?
Coming back to this. Okay,
so there are some dynamics that are very peculiar. and such dynamics, just kill it. There's no this one. There's no even point being acquaintance, because you know that there's some sort of feelings, or there's certain feelings you didn't act on in the past, and because you didn't act on in the past, in the future you might want to explore. In that case, don't give it the opportunity to rise again, right? Like, you guys have spoken about it. Move on with your life. You've closed that chapter already. You don't. They are said genuinely. As much as I say, okay, yes, some of them come like acquaintances and stuff. There are some that you don't even have to just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. It's not that one. You survived a couple of years, months without that person. The remaining years of your life will not, it's
won't hurt.
right? Like, just let it go. There are a lot of these situations where we don't have to force it any longer. Like, you don't need it. You don't need that drama, especially in a situation where your partner is involved and you now have to do convincing. When you have to be convincing your partner that there's nothing involved or nothing, let it go. It's not worth all that drama. If
there's already a problem.
If it gets to a point where you have to be convincing your partner or have to be explaining, there's nothing between us, so there's nothing going on. It has gone beyond this thing. Just let it go at that point. Let it go.
All right. Thank you so very much. So let it go. I mean, though I would say for crushes, because a crush is just the way I take crush is very light, but you still know yourself. Because you can crush on someone today and like tomorrow, you're like, who's able to see you well? You're crushing GS3. By the time I went for 6 months holiday, I think I came like my crush has been crushed. so yeah. I mean, for whether it's crush or especially if you have dated, just let it go, and you won't have to start convincing your partner that you are now just friends. Okay, thank you so much, AY. The next question, it said, why do some men, this is for men, feel insecure about a woman's male bestie? Okay. But they are okay with them, the man, having female friends.
Meaning, if you are not going to accept it, don't dish it out. That's my principle, right? Like, if you know that if somebody else does it to you, you're not going to accept it. Don't do it to them, right? So, if as a man you're going to tell your partner or your wife not to have a male bestie, then you as a man, you should not have a female bestie. It is simple.
Yeah, though this question says female friends, let's talk about bestie. Yes. So, but we don't understand the context. We don't know how close they are.
Yeah. So, I mean, I assumed it was a bestie situation, right? But if it's just friends, I mean, like we addressed initially, integrating is a big deal. You have to find a way to integrate your friends. Maybe if your husband knows this person, has a relationship with him, he would have a better understanding of who the person is, right? And it can be tricky sometimes if a married person has a single guy that is a friend, or if a married man has a single lady that is a friend. Integrating is the best thing. And if you see that the integration is not working, friendship is not do or die. It's not the
substitutes. I'll be eliminate.
Eliminate. I mean, eliminate. It's not do or die. Because you have decided you want to spend the rest of your life. I mean, we are talking about partners. I'm talking to somebody you're already married to, right? Not basically that you're active dating. When you're already married, you decided you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person. If another person is going to come and be raising questions, I know some people might say, "Oh, but this person have had a long impact in my life, and stuff." Yes, but you have moved on to a new phase of your life, right? Certain people are meant to be in your life at a particular time. It doesn't mean they'll be in your life the rest of your life. They might just be there for a season, to help you for a season. It doesn't mean you can't be an acquaintance with them like we established earlier. Maybe when they do something happens in their life, you reach out to them, greet them, move on with your life, right? It doesn't mean you can't be an acquaintance, but like in a situation that you now have to start defending, and like I said, what you cannot take, don't give it. Right? If you don't want, as a man, you don't want your wife to have male friends, you too, you will not have female friends. There has to be understanding and agreement. Nobody's an island. We need friends, be it male or female. We need friends, right? So find a way to integrate. You all become one. If integration is not working, you eliminate and you move on with your life.
All right. Thank you so very much for that wonderful answer. And as you were just talking, the story of Abraham and Lot came to mind. So this may be the word for someone. It is time for you to let Lot go. If Lot is not allowing your Lot to rest, Lot go. It has been clogged. So thank you so much, AY. We have officially come to the end of this conversation, and honestly speaking, I enjoyed every bit of it, and I hope that the viewers would as well enjoy it. And if we may have follow-up questions, if you have any question from this conversation about this issue of opposite sex friendship, please do well to drop it in the comment section. Once again, thank you so much, Ayobami Odumiwa Samson, for coming to my channel. I feel so privileged because these days you seem to be unreachable. You form unreachability. Well, really, I'm so privileged. I've taken over an hour of your time and I'm grateful, very grateful. So to everyone watching out there, thank you for staying till this time. To all the female besties and the male besties that are single, we salute you. Please stay safe and respect each other. And for all our married people, I pray that God will continue to grant us the wisdom to manage the gift, because marriage is a gift. The gift God has given us, we will be able to guard it jealously. And at the end of the day, we will not regret the decisions we are making in our marriage in Jesus' name. Please do well to subscribe to this channel. More interesting conversations would come up by God's grace. And see you in the next video. Sorry, do you want to say something?
Subscribe to Inspired so you'll be inspired. Yeah.
Yes. How do you take down pockets? All right. See you guys. Bye.